Hi, everyone. I am Alicia, and I am a psychic medium. I'm what's to be considered a no-tools medium, meaning I don't need to use cards or anything like that, but I can and I do incorporate them into my readings. What I do, mainly, is I channel. And I channel energy of those that have passed, communicate with those that have passed. I channel the energy of you guys, those that are still here, places, objects, and I channel and I communicate with my spirit guides, and I use my third eye. All my readings are timeless, so anything I say could be past, present, or future. It could deal with you, somebody close to you, maybe somebody you haven't met yet. Okay? If my readings resonate with you, yay! No, I hope they do. I hope they resonate, with one or some of you. If they don't, then maybe the reading is just not for you or not for you at this time. You can always go back to readings, look through them. Go to my YouTube channel at The Healing Hippie, and I've got like 60 readings on there. So I'll just keep uploading more. What else? Yes. If you do go to my YouTube channel, please subscribe, okay? It's absolutely free. You will not get anything from me. You're not really subscribing to anything quite yet, okay? I haven't added anything extra on the YouTube thing yet. I just need to get so many subscribers in order to be able to go live and get monetized, okay? Main thing for me is going live, because then once I go live on YouTube, then I can get more subscribers and followers. Okay. Now, this week is going to kind of be like a trial run, you know what I mean? I started the whole subscription thing, and I think from here on out, the only people, I don't know about if tonight, I have to, after this, I have to go over everything and see how it's set up and things like that. But how I'm pretty sure I had it set up yesterday or last night or this morning, one of them, was that once it actually gets up and going and kicking, that when you subscribe to my Facebook, okay, when you subscribe to my Facebook, the little extra perks and stuff that you will get for subscribing will be, number one, these live readings, okay? I will no longer be doing live readings, just regular on Facebook, okay? I mean, just like every night on Facebook. They will be solely for those that will subscribe to my Facebook page, okay? It's 99 cents, so it's like, it's not breaking the bank, Like I said, I'm just starting out small, whatever, and just trying to work my way up. And I think, actually, if you sign up now, whatever, you get your first 14 days are free. It's a free trial for 14 days. Then after the 14 days, it'll be 99 cents. So, I mean, like I said the other day, it's less than a candy bar, So, and yes, you will be able to watch me do my live readings if you're a subscriber. You will be able to get individual readings, okay? Along with that, I will be doing individual readings for subscribers only on the live for subscriber type deal, okay? And I think I want to limit to those, little mini readings is what I'll call them, to 15, 20 minutes, each. That way I can get 3 or 4 people in, within an hour's time. It can go longer if need be, but I just figured for a little, like preview, first reading type deal, that's what I will do. I'm in the process of making a group, for my page, and that will be a place where me and you guys can, post things, post pictures, get videos, a place to vent, place to meet people. I don't mean like dating, you know, I just mean like-minded individuals, you know, men and women, you know, it doesn't have to be all women, it's, you know, men and women, and things solely about healing, you know, enlightenment, becoming awakened, metaphysical type stuff, and, you know, of course, like the paranormal and all that, you know, that can be a place where, like, if anybody has any questions, you know, and things like that, that would be the place to do that. Because when I'll be doing the live, like for the subscribers only, I want to be focusing mainly just on the readings during that time, you know, and not so much on questions, you know, about certain things. Pretty much all of my information is on my page and out there and being posted. So, I mean, if you have any other type of questions, you know, that's fine. About, you know, I guess like about me, or how I got started, and, or like, you know, how I found out I had my abilities, or when did I start using them, or when did they, you know, become more prevalent, and like, I don't want to say powerful because that sounds weird. You know, questions like that, and questions about metaphysical things, maybe paranormal things. It can be a place for you guys to share your experiences, you know, and stuff like that. I want to mainly focus on subjects that deal with, like I said, the metaphysical, you know, the healing, all of that. So any type of healing type deal, like if you feel like you've been healed or you've healed others, you know, in any way, you know, mind, body, soul. So you can heal someone by talking to them, you know, making them laugh, or, you know, that could heal somebody's heart. So you can physically heal people, crystals, gemstones, you know, herbs, things like that. Any kind of experiences that you've heard or like witnessed, or, you know, like miraculous type things or paranormal type things, healing things, just things under those subjects. Okay. I'd like to keep it to that, since that's what I'm focusing on and gearing towards. And my little group is going to be called Hippie-ish. So I don't know how to spell it. I think it's Hippiish, like hippie-ish, because it wouldn't have a Y, because hippie is Hippie, and you can't put IE, like, that's incorrect. So, oh well, it's going to be Hippiish. Or should I put IEISH? I don't even know. Hippie-ish. So, I think it's cute. And, of course, for those of you that don't know, hippie, anyhow, stands for highly intelligent people pursuing internal enlightenment. Pretty cool, huh? So, okay. I've already done introduction. Is there anybody on right now, and you can just message right here, like during the live? Is there anybody that wants me to do a little reading for them, like right now, like during the live? If so, you know, I can do that. If not, then I will just do a generalized one. And for any of you that saw my so-called reading from this morning, that was more of like a morning conversation than anything. But yeah, I will apologize, like, right off the rip. You know, I'm very long-winded, so that is one thing that you guys may have to get used to, you know, especially if I'm doing like individualized readings, one-on-one. They tend to last quite a while because, you know, aside from the reading, like, me and or the person I'm giving a reading for is sharing an experience, you know, like something, whatever we've been through, or, you know, comparing, or, you know, shouting out ideas, or, you know, what do you think of this, and this and that. So it's not like, you know, I'm just all business, you know, and like go to give you a reading and I come there and I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm done, you know, give my money and go. Like, no, like it's not like that. So, you know, I like to make people feel comfortable, and I like to feel comfortable. And a lot of times when I'm doing an individualized reading, you know, I will, if it's in person, you know, I'll, or even over video, you know, say I'll show up and say my little spiel, I'll pray, and then I usually go ahead and get started. There's usually not an issue or like any type of like time lapse when it comes to me channeling, especially when I already have in mind, in spirit, you know, knows who I'm going to be channeling for. So I imagine they prepare on their side, wherever they're at, you know, for what I need to be doing. Because every time, you know, I've just done an individual reading in person, it's like, okay, you know, I sit down and then I just start going, you know. And I generally would do that here, but, you know, I want to be able to, I don't want to say show myself, but I want to be able to be myself, you know, during this whole process. And aside from me just like giving the readings, like I said, when I do share experiences, either stuff that I've seen, stuff that I've personally been through, it kind of helps, you know, sometimes, especially if the person I'm reading for, you know, it's more of a very personal, deep-seated reading, you know, so it kind of helps like ease some tensions, you know. It kind of takes away some awkwardness. I have a thing that I do when I'm nervous, and, you know, sometimes I try to make myself or other people laugh, you know, and that's a nervous thing. And that is also something I do, not just out of nervousness, but like an icebreaker, or like, you know, if I feel the tension and it's like, okay, this needs to lighten up, you know, and then I will generally say something or do something that causes distraction of some sort, you know, and shifts our focus and shifts our mind towards something, you know, a little bit more lighthearted for the time being, you know. And then if need be, we can shift back to the very deep, meaningful, you know, prophetic wisdom words that come out of my mouth. Oh, I have this shirt. Says something like, she speaks with wisdom, or words of wisdom come from her tongue. Let me get it. I forget, because I love it. I do, I love it. If I can find it. If I can't find it, I'll have it for next time. Now, here it is. Well, I mean, yeah, it should have been there because I have OCD, so, like, everything is, like, categorized, like, in my closet. Oh, okay. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teachings of kindness is on her tongue. It's Proverbs 31:26. So, yeah, but I just love that t-shirt. I mean, I've had it for a while. Yeah, I love that. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teachings of kindness is on her tongue. I'm going to get ready to pray and get started. But for some reason, and I'm not sure why, and hold on again, I apologize. It's okay. I think you guys will be all right. I don't know. And I'm not a huge religious person. You know, I don't believe that one must enter a building or go to a said type church, pick a said type of denomination in order to worship God, okay? I'm not big on organized religion and all of that. I am very spiritual. I believe in God, and I believe in the Bible. I believe in the Quran. I believe in, honestly, the Book of Mormon, the Torah, all of them. What is it? The Kabbalah? No, it's not the Kabbalah. It is Kabbalah. No, the Quran. I already said that. The Torah. There's another one. And then I also believe in Buddha, and Krishna, and which is Hindu, and then, and Mahatma Gandhi, and all of these great people, and Jesus, and, the stories in the Bible, and I believe in it all, all of it are collections, I believe, of things that we need to know and learn. I don't know. Something told me to grab this. I'm not sure what for. And yes, I have read the Bible several times, front to back, before we were allowed to have books and stuff like that sent to us, and they had that shit-ass library there at the jail. This was basically the only book that you could read. Why do they want me to read about that? And then I'll channel. Okay. This is crazy that I turned to this page. All right. We're in Exodus chapter 28. Verse 15. This is about the design of the chest piece, the breastplates. Okay? And this has meaning for reason, especially in regards to me. It says, "Then with great skill and care, make a chest piece to be worn for seeking a decision from God. Make it to match the ephod using finely woven linen embroidered with gold and with blue, purple, and scarlet thread. Make the chest piece of a single piece of cloth, folded to form a pouch 9 inches square. Mount 4 rows of gemstones on it. The first row will contain a red carnelian, which is a gemstone, a pale green peridot, an emerald. The second row will contain a turquoise, a blue lapis lazuli, and a white moonstone. The third row will contain an orange jacinth, an agate, and a purple amethyst. The fourth row will contain a blue-green beryl, an onyx, and a green jasper. All these stones will be set in gold filigree. Each stone will represent one of the 12 sons of Israel, and the name of that tribe will be engraved on it like a seal." Gee. There's a reason I had to read that. Maybe there's somebody listening or watching that maybe had a hand in or still has thoughts or questions, or people out there in regards to my crystals and gemstones and whether or not they're evil or bad. And I will say this, in regards to crystals and gemstones, and in regards to anything you do in this world, anything you use, anything you practice, it's all about your intention. Point blank, period. It's about what's behind what you're trying to do with what you have. Now you have two people having crystals and gemstones. One is using them for the black magic side of witchcraft, for spells. And then you have another person who has the same crystals and gemstones, well, their own set, but they have the same ones. But they're going to be using them for medicinal purposes, using them as medicine. You know, amethyst can help take your headaches away, migraines. It helps with anxiety. It helps you sleep at night. You know, carnelian is good for kind of like aches and pains. And each crystal and or gemstone, you know, coordinates generally in conjunction with the colored chakras. Okay, you know, root all the way up to the crown, starting with the root, it's red. So any type of crystal or gemstone that you would use to help in the aid of any kind of issues down in your root chakra would be a brown, red type color, or pink, okay, and so on and so forth. You know, your sacral is orange, and so anything in that area, or whatever goes with the sacral chakra, whatever body parts and all that, you know, mind, like physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, like it's all connected, you know, and it all sinks in together. You know, when you get to your throat chakra, you know, the throat chakra, the color for that chakra is blue. So any kind of like earache, throat ache, you could use like, well, you can use kind of like a greenish blue too. There's some that are like greenish blue, bluish green, you know, that can kind of like are in the middle, you know, that can go from like, say like the green to the blue, or the blue to the indigo, and so on and so forth, okay? And then there are just a few crystals and or gemstones that say you can use for the root chakra, but also use up here on your crown chakra, you know. One of those being carnelian. You know, carnelian you can use for either the root or sacral. It's mostly the sacral, I believe, because it's more of an orangish color. It's like a dark orange. And, but you can also use it, you know, say like on your shoulder, or, you know, lower back, or even up here, you know, on your head, because it's for pain. So any type of like pain or ache that you have, you know, you can use that for that. So just to put, I guess, some people's minds at ease, you know, if it bothers anybody, or if people have reservations or are still out there wondering, you know, about the whole crystal gemstone thing and whether or not they're evil or bad. And same thing goes with, you know, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be a type of like metaphysical practice, or like, you know, psychic mediumship practice, or like a tarot card practice, or crystal gemstone practice, or, you know, herbal practice, candle practice, food practice. It doesn't matter. I mean, because you can make spells with food, you know what I mean? Like, come on, candles, and, you know, you can practice witchcraft with candles, with food, with herbs, with crystals, with anything, you know, and then you can also not. It's all about the person, and it's all about what their plan is and what their intention is with what they have, okay? Just like with readers, you can have two readers, you know, two people getting ready to do tarot. They have their set, I have my set, okay? This person's intentions over here are, and, you know, say they practice more of the black magic, or they're more Wiccan or Wicca, however you say it, or, you know, into like magicians and things like that, you know, or something warlocks, into all of that type of thing, And this may sound a little weird or odd, but I'm sorry. With that person's intentions being more geared towards that type of stuff, and their mindset is more geared towards that, that's how the reading's going to turn out. You got someone doing a reading and they're more for, black magic, the dark side, and things like that. That's how the reading is going to be read, basically, more geared towards that type of stuff. I set my intention when I prayed at the beginning. I set my intention, dear Lord God, please protect me with your white light of protection always. My intention is to communicate with spirit, with my spirit guides, with angels, with energy, and to do a general mediumship reading for the collective. Okay? See, that's all you have to do. And you don't have to say it out loud. You can say it in your head, but I've learned to do this, and I do it with everything I do. I mean, set your intention with everything you do. Even if you're walking, I mean, you're making a choice and decision, but your intention is to walk across the room, or walk across the street, or drive to the gas station. That's your intention. My intention is to drive to the gas station and ensure that I will be safe and I will make it safely back home. It's little things like that. Archangel Michael, of course, he is the archangel and the angel of protection of all. And he's also very good for protection, like when you're traveling, for real. Like, traveling by land, sea, air, it doesn't matter. You can pray for his protection, to have a safe journey and a safe trip and things like that. So, yeah. And I'm going to share this story because I think it's kind of cool before I get started. So anybody that gets freaked out easy when it comes to paranormal type stuff, then maybe close your ears, okay? This is not for sensitive ears. No, but tonight it was crazy. And last night when I was at my friend's, we did this thing, because I've spoke before on here about, having it pitch dark, and because I was talking about negative energy and having it pitch dark and like in the room, like no lights from the outside, nothing. And at a place that I was at, or I used to live at before, in the room, and it was up in the corner, and I wasn't the only one that saw it, I mean, you could see the thing like in daylight. It was weird. It was like a black cloud, and that moved. It was constantly like moving around, and like not around the room, but like, kind of like within and without, like, like it was forming and shaping and like constantly like in motion. You know what I mean? This black cloud, massive negative energy. But anyhow, when I had first seen that or whatever, it was dark in the room that we were in, and I'm laying in bed because we were trying, to go to bed and go to sleep. Me and my boyfriend at that time. And this was years ago. And I kept seeing this thing up in the corner in the dark. And it was crazy because it was so pitch dark in that room. I mean, it was odd because when we turned off them lights, like it was, and I'm thinking, this is extremely dark in here, and like there were no darkening blinds, where I lived before or anything like that. At least I didn't have any at that time, I mean, I had like little mini blinds and like some curtains, but I didn't have darkening blinds or anything. So it's like, and there was even a street light on, but yet this room was so dark. Not this room, but where I was so dark. But yet up in that corner, and it was like right here, the left corner, say like I'd be laying back here and I could just see this thing and interchanging and moving, in the darkness, like, and it was more prominent than the darkness, if you understand what I mean. Like, it was blacker than the blackness. It was darker than the darkness. It was blacker than black, and it was crazy. So anyhow, I was telling my friend last night when I was over at his house or apartment, whatever, but because I told him, I said, I don't know, because we got to talking about seeing in the dark, and, you know, he was talking about how, you know, he gets up and he trips. I said, well, you should know where everything's at by now, you know, it's your damn apartment. I mean, don't you know? I mean, I said, because I don't understand. I said, every time you get up, I said, you run into the same damn chair or whatever, you know what I mean? I said, every time, like, how long have you lived here? Like, you know that chair's there. Why do you bump into it every freaking time? Like, I'm not understanding it. And he said, well, you know, it's dark. I said, well, okay, number one, the lights are on now. You can't use that. Number two, like, I could see if it was dark, you know what I mean? And I said, but it's weird. I said, and I have read about this before too, like it was a while ago, but some people, and I don't want to say they're nocturnal, but some people can see in the dark. And I've said that for a long, 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 long time. You know, I've always told people I can see better in the dark than I can, like, during the day. It's odd because, like, at nighttime, like, things aren't blurry to me. Like, I can see the things, you know. And, like, now, without my glasses on, like, me looking here at the camera or whatever, like, it's blurry, you know. I know it's me, and, you know, I can see my silhouette and all that, and I can see a face, but it's like, I can see my face, but not my face. Do you understand what I'm saying? Well, I probably see about 13 faces, but, yeah, I freaked myself out on that freaking this morning. Like, that's what I was going to talk about. But yes, it's odd, but I think it's neat that, I can see in the dark. And I told him, I said, people can see in the dark. I said, number one, I said, people can do anything they want to do. I said, you have to train your brain to do it. And you have to get your brain and your mind to believe that you can do it. And that you have faith in yourself that you can see in the dark. You know what I mean? You just have to allow time, because you have to be patient. You have to allow, you know, enough time, number one, first, okay, for your eyes to be okay with the lights completely going out, okay, and then they have to adjust, which I think it's usually about 5 minutes or so that it takes for a person's eyes to adjust, to go from, like, you know, being bright and then all of a sudden it's completely dark. And then after that, it's weird because, say it's completely dark. Okay, so yeah, we sat in the dark last night at his house, like, doing this, like, experiment thing. And because I said, fuck it, let's try it. And, you know, he was like, oh, I bet you can't see my fingers, da-da-da-da-da. I said, I bet you I can. I said, given enough time, let my eyes adjust and let me sit there and, you know, whatever, pray on it, meditate on it, you know, for like a minute or so, and just let me get my eyes right, is what I told him. Oh, I just saw an orb. I've been seeing so many, and this was a white one, and it was going so slow. It was like, ooh, just traveling. It was small. It was an angel, really, because it was a little white light. Yeah, that one was an angel. Anytime you see any type of kind of like light or sparkle or anything that kind of looks like a cross or a plus sign, you know, if you take a picture and you see these little, looks like something that's a little bit brighter, you know, than something else, or a little light thing, it's like, what is that little light, you know? And then you zoom in on it and it looks like a little plus sign, you know? Those are angels. I mean, they really are. Read on it, research it, you know, doesn't matter. The little sparks of light that we see that are either white, gold, red, green, or blue are angels. So all these times that we take pictures, you know, of ourselves or others, whatever, and, you know, maybe first and foremost, you know, we're not seeing something, but then it's like, well, you know, we think we see something, so then we zoom in. Well, when you zoom in, it tends to get a little bit brighter, or, you know, you can see things a little bit differently, you know. And then if you go in and start, like, adjusting the lighting and stuff like that and getting it where it needs to be, these things, little plus signs, whatever, they form things, you know what I mean? And little people, little angels, little just bright things, you know what I mean? And I just think it's amazing. It's like they're these little tiny, they remind me of like little fairies. I mean, little tiny things. And they have these swords and, you know, or none of them really have wings. I don't really see wings coming out. It's just bright light like coming out from behind. And that bright light is what emanates and looks like wings in a sense, you know. But actual angels, you know, that are up in there, whatever, up in heaven, up in another dimension, wherever they may be, up around God and Source, they don't have wings. I mean, no, one of them does. No, they do have wings, but they're not humans with wings. Okay, sorry. Yeah, they're not humans with wings. So, yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, these little things. And so anyhow, we're doing the experiment. Yeah, I know my ADD. We're doing the experiment. Oh my gosh, I have to hit the do not disturb. I am such a airhead, I swear. You'd think I'd remember by now. It's okay. I think we'll be all right. So we're sitting in the dark, you know what I mean? And I put my hand, you know, well, I let my eyes adjust first, you know, or start to adjust. Of course, Mr. Impatient next to me, you know, oh my God, he's like, dude, are you afraid? Like, I mean, I don't like the dark either. I mean, I don't like sitting in the dark, you know, not because of, ooh, the scary little things. No, those things don't scare me because I am afraid of the dark. And yeah, kind of ironic. But, I'm not completely afraid of the dark. I'm afraid of the dark, like, and it's like only during certain times anymore. It's like, because when I get weird feelings, like something ain't right, I don't like going outside by myself, you know, like here, I can't smoke inside, and I have to go outside, you know, and there will be times that I will get to the back door to get ready to go outside and smoke, and I won't even open the door because I have some weird, overwhelming, intuitive feeling that something ain't right out there, you know. And not that it's a ghost or a spirit or anything that like that, but what that is me picking up on an energy of either something or someone that does not have good intentions, you know. And then I just don't smoke. I don't go outside, you know, because I'm afraid of the dark, not because of ghosts, because of people, because of humans that can hide and disguise themselves and are lurking and hiding purposely in the dark to either attack somebody or scare somebody or watch somebody. Yeah. So, like I said, I've got PTSD when it comes to quite a few things, more than quite a few. And that's one of them. You know, I don't like to be alone at night by myself. Another reason I kind of stay up. One of my exes, once we broke up, and well, when we were on the verge of breaking up years ago, and then after I broke up with him, and I'm being serious, like the man had some sort of break, and he couldn't handle it. And this is the truth of the situation. He couldn't handle it, not because, oh my God, I just love her so much and she's just so great. No. I was no longer on heroin and fentanyl. And I told myself, okay, if I can get off of it, you know, if I can get off of this stuff, I don't need him anymore, you know. And because I was serving a purpose and a need for him, and he was serving a purpose and a need for me. Did I care and love him? I thought I did at one point, but the relationship between me and this person just was so rocky, was so chaotic, was so dysfunctional, was so toxic. And the way that this person was treating me was very possessive, controlling, obsessive, very stalkerish. And the man ended up stalking me and was stalking me, would show up places like, how did you even get here? How did you know I was coming to this place? How did you even get here? You don't have a car, you know, because I always had the car. I made sure we had phones, you know, I always had the money, you know, and I was the person that supplied the drugs. I'd say 90% of the time. There was a time in our relationship throughout that 5-6 years that he did work off and on, but for the most part, no. And so it was up to me to take care of two people for quite a while, take care of two people on heroin / fentanyl, or carfentanil at that time. That's when that came out. So either heroin or the fentanyl, and of course crack, and sometimes meth, and you know, and yeah, because back in the day, crack was my drug of choice. And crack is not cheap. Crack is not cheap at all. And so then originally, you know, I was just kind of supporting and paying for my own habit. And then here he comes, and then, okay, and then he starts doing that with me. Doing that. Okay, well, there's two people doing it now. And then I find out he's on the heroin. So then that's something else, you know, so that's more money. And then I got on it. Dumbest thing I ever did in my life, you know. Instead of doing the right thing, no, honestly, I mean, yeah, I was on the one drugs. Not when I lost my kids. When I lost kids, I wasn't on anything, and that's the truth. And I'm not getting into things right now, but for some reason, when I lost custody of my kids, when they took my kids from me and shipped them off 5 states away and put them in custody of a man that was their father, but they hadn't seen in over 5 years, due to a civil protection order. And the man had a list a mile long of offenses that he had committed against me, you know, and domestic violence wise, and they still gave him my kids. And so when that happened, and, you know, I'm not going to make this a long story, but when that happened, it was like I lost my whole world, like for real. I mean, I might have, you know, kind of dabbled here and there, you know, I had struggled with, you know, being clean, you know, off and on, you know, but there were times, and then when I had my kids, when I was a mother, and when I was mothering, I mean, I was a very good mother, you know, and I spent every waking hour, every second that I could, you know, with my kids, until I got with this person. And that was after I got a divorce and moved back up here from Georgia, and then I lost my kids. So when I lost my kids, that's when I started doing heroin. You know, I was already dabbling in doing the one thing, you know, the hard, but then it's like it wasn't doing it, you know, like I couldn't grasp that concept that they had just taken, like, and it was like without a care in the world, like it was nothing to just take my kids from me, and they'd been with me every day since the day that they were born, and go put them with this man that they didn't even know. Clear down in South Carolina. And they gave me 1 hour to get my kids ready. 1 hour. This all happened on August 18th of 2014. It was their first day of school. And I had court that afternoon. So, anyhow, I ended up, instead of doing the right thing and doing things that I needed to do, me being an addict and not having any coping skills and not really having much direction or anything at all in my life, just the only thing I knew how to do to handle things was to drink, smoke weed, and to smoke crack, do drugs. Self-destruction, basically, and honestly, I did anything and everything I could to it's like I knew I was hurting myself, and because I wanted to, internally, like I wanted to subconsciously to hurt myself because I didn't want to feel the feelings that I was feeling. And like the drugs, like the one drug wasn't working. So it's like, okay, well, let's try this other one. Okay. And that started to make me feel exactly how the original drug made me feel, the crack. That's why I did it back in the day, to feel numb, to have my mind go blank so I didn't have to think about anything, because I didn't want to think about being molested and being raped and being abused and all this type of stuff, So you want to block everything out and just forget everything. And that wasn't working anymore with the kids, and I couldn't do it. And so in comes heroin. And there's a reason behind all this. And I started off by snorting it, okay? And I hate needles. And I have like a phobia of needles. And that's all because when I was younger and was hospitalized and they had me in the ICU, one of the nurses at this stupid ass Green Memorial was trying to give me an IV in my hand, and she couldn't get it because I was so dehydrated, and she couldn't get anything in and couldn't get it to run, and she kept stabbing me in my hand. And I was out in the hallway there in the ICU of Green Memorial. I'm 10 years old and by myself in the hallway with her and this nurse. I don't know where the hell my mom was, as usual, but stabbing my hand. So ever since then, like, I've hated needles. And so anyhow, I ended up going from snorting it to obviously injecting it. But no, I wasn't injecting it because I can't even look and do it. And that's real love there, when the person you're with offers to shoot you up with drugs that can kill you. That's genuine love. I mean, that's deep-seated, man, I want to be with you the rest of my life type shit, And, yeah, I'm being very sarcastic. But, so, doing that, him doing that for me, because that's how he did his stuff. Not the crack, but the stuff, he shot up. That's what he did. And so then he started doing me, I mean, because that had to do with like this whole argument we had one time, and I'll get into that another time. But it was crazy because here's this person that supposedly loves me, but now you're doing this. And he even told me, he said, Alicia, once you start doing it this way, you can't go back to snorting it. Because I was dope sick is what it was, and I didn't realize I was dope sick, and I kept snorting some, and like I wasn't getting high, I wasn't getting well, like nothing. And so like I begged him to give it to me his way, and because I was going through bad withdrawals and I didn't understand, I didn't, it was a bad time, and he kept trying to explain to me that that's what was going on. I mean, and I understood the words that were coming out of his mouth. Yes, I'm going through withdrawal. I understand that, but I don't fucking feel it, and it's like my bones hurt, my body hurts, like I can't move. Like, I mean, it was crazy, and it was bad. Like, my body just straight rejects heroin and mainly carfentanil. And back when I started all of that is when carfentanil first came out and about, like, big time. It was like 2014 or 15. And so automatically, especially injecting that into my system, my body automatically rejected it. So I would be trying to get well, and then here I am throwing up, like not even 10 minutes later, and then I'm throwing up all day long. And so that was bad. So, but anyhow, that was his purpose, because I could not do that by myself. So therefore, even when I was trying to get away from this man, and this was a few years later, when I was trying to break up with him and leave him because he had become very possessive and controlling and obsessive and delusional and was saying I was doing all these weird things and cheating. It's like, dude, you're never not with me. We're together 24/7. I'm not allowed to go anywhere. I couldn't even pee anymore without him. I had to leave the door open when I went pee at his house, and like he would walk by and in front of the door, like while I'm peeing, like what the frig, he would go pee, and in that 90 seconds that it took him to use the restroom, I guess in that 90 seconds, somehow I would manage to get the neighbors from upstairs, bring him downstairs, have sex with him, and hurry up and get him back upstairs in 90 seconds. Yeah. It was weird shit. I mean, stuff like that. Like, we got in an argument one time, and he had this thing of, it was either lotion or conditioner, and he had chucked it or whatever, and it hit the wall and exploded everywhere, and it went all over the stand-up mirror, like all over the wall. Okay, well, a little bit later, of course, after, because we argued nonstop every day. He would argue with me about the same, like, 7 or 8 things every day, all day long. And then it was continuous. He would argue about this subject, then this, then this, then this, and this, and this. And then once all that was done, then it would start over again. And then, and then this, and then that's it. And then start over again. I mean, he was driving everybody crazy. I mean, not just himself, but everybody. And I mean, I felt bad for the man because I feel like he was having a psychotic break. And everybody kept asking me if he was on meth and this, because he was delusional and like seeing shit that wasn't there. And accusing me of hiding some man up in the attic in my garage, and it was 100-some degrees outside. And he said, Alicia, I knew you were a bitch, but I never thought that you could be so cruel and so, cruel-hearted. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he was like, that man, what man? Like, that man you've got up there in the attic, in the garage. He was like, it's 130 degrees up there, I bet. And you've got him laying up there, and just because I'm here. I said, what the frig are you talking about? Shit like that. I mean, he was supposed to be detailing his car with one of my dudes at my house this other time. And instead of doing that, this man, and I'm inside, like, doing laundry and folding laundry. So I'm folding towels. And all of a sudden, I start seeing him. He comes in the back door, goes out the front. Comes in the back door, goes out the front. Comes in the back door, goes out the front. Comes in the front door, goes out the back. Comes in the front door, goes out the back. Da-da-da-da-da. Does that shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then so I get up, and I'm like, that, because he's running. Like, not what, he's running. Like, the frig. And then in comes my daughter from school, because I ignored it. I'm like, whatever, he's having one of his episodes or whatever, just let him go. I thought he went outside to help my friend Paco. Like, he was supposed to be helping him detail his damn SUV. Hell no, he's too busy running in and out of the house, like, looking for somebody in a circle. So, yeah, this is the craziness I went through. and so anyway, in comes my daughter from school, and she said, Mom. And I said, what? And she was like, who is Dustin chasing? And I said, what are you talking about? I said, is he running up sidewalk again? And she said, no. She said, he's like a street or so over. She said, I got off the bus, and she said, he's running full force up the middle of the road like he's chasing somebody. I said, oh, no, man. So then he comes back in, and, you know, I'm standing there, and now all of a sudden he's inspecting the towels. And yes, I know, I'll get back to my story, and I'll get to channeling here in a second. So, inspecting the towel, and the handprints. My handprints were on it from folding them. Well, those turned into my handprints from me being bent over and somebody doing something to me. Where are you getting this shit from? Like, this is the weird shit. And he was inspecting the footprints in the grass, like accusing my kids and like doing all this weird shit, man. And so anyhow, I told everyone, no, he's not on meth. Well, how do you know? Because I'm the one buying the drugs. You know what I mean? I'm the one with the money. I'm the one getting it. You know, I know what we're doing, you know. He's not getting it from anywhere else because he won't leave my hip, like literally. And so anyhow, his purpose for me was to get me well, was to do that for me to get me well. And of course, my purpose for him was the whole deal. You know what I mean? Like, if Alicia's gone, then you have no drugs, you have no money, to get drugs, you have no cigarettes, you have no car, you have no nothing. And I think more than all of the stuff, I think it was the drug that terrified him, that he wasn't going to have that. And more than anything, I think that's what it was. So, but I ended up leaving him, and he ended up stalking me. That's my whole point. After all that long shit, he ended up stalking me, literally. Like I said, like I would be, say, like across town, like over off Ledbetter, and I'd go to Walmart, and he'd be nowhere around because he wasn't allowed where I was. And so one time I pulled in a parking spot, and this motherfucker, excuse my language, is jumping in the passenger seat of my car, and he didn't even own a car. Like, how did you even know I was coming to Walmart? You know what I mean? Like, it was weird. Like, how did you even get here? Like, and it was like he was out of breath, like he'd been running. Like, where the frig did you just come from? Like, it was weird. And he hid in the trunk of my car, literally. I went to get in my car one time, and it was hot as frig out. And I would start my car, and I'd get up to the stop sign. No sooner I get to the stop sign, and all of a sudden, out he pops from the trunk of my car. Sweating, breathing all heavy and shit. And it wasn't the fact. And then he jumps in the passenger seat of my car. And I'm in shock. And I'm like, more than anything, I'm like, and the first thing I said was, are you okay? I mean, it was literally over 100 degrees that day. And my car was locked. And I'd done something because I stopped at the stop sign, and I think I was going to get something out of the trunk of my car. There was something in there. I think there was a wire loose or something that had to do with the radio or the speaker or something, and you had to like jar it or something to get it to go. Yeah. So like when I stopped and I popped the thing, and now he popped. And that's one thing. How the fuck did you get in my car? Number one, because it was locked. And how long have you been in there? I mean, he was flush. I mean, he'd been in there a hot second. So, I mean, did that. He fell out of the tree behind my garage 3 different occasions. My brother was there twice, you know, and saw him fall, and then he just takes off running. And then wants to call me 10 minutes later talking about, where you at? Motherfucker, you know where I'm at. You just fell out of my tree and saw me. You know what I mean? Oh, that wasn't me. Like, weird shit like that. The hell if it wasn't, you know? Yes, that was you. Like, weird shit. He broke in my house, took pictures of my kids and me asleep. Weird shit, man. So, yes, like, would hide, like, just in the dark, like in the bushes and behind the... So, hence the reason I'm afraid of the dark. Okay? That's my whole reason behind being afraid of the dark. Okay? So, anyhow, like last night during this whole, like, experiment, you know, sitting there, and it was crazy because he didn't think I could do it. So, in the blackness of the black, and I know I get off track, people, and I know I start telling stories, and you're like, what does this have to do with anything? It doesn't even really matter. You know, it really doesn't. And because once I get on a thing, and I will say this too, because when I come on here to do this, you know, and I set my intention at the very beginning, my intention is to channel. My intention, you know, is to give a reading, you know, whatever. Readings don't always have to mean I'm sitting here doing cards or just sitting here, whatever. Channeled messages, you know, any kind of channeled message from anywhere, whether it be from spirit, you know, whether it be from source, whether it be from angels, whether it be from my spirit guides, you know, whether it be from the energy of one of you guys, it doesn't matter. Whatever, as soon as I set the intention, you know, or have my intention that I'm going to go on live, you know, the moment I hit record, I'm channeling. Doesn't matter if it's the introduction, you know, everything, especially when I'm going like that, like flowing like that, like so much and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and not even taking a breath. That's one indication right there that I'm channeling. Like there's a reason as to why they had me tell those stories just now, you know, for some odd reason. I don't know why they're not telling me, but there's a reason why when I record these things, even live, you know what I mean? Not just record them, but even when I do them live. Like I said, from the moment I come on here, expect everything that comes out of my mouth 9 times out of 10 to be channeled. You know, a message in one way or another, in one form or another, you know, and sometimes in order for them to get messages out, the best that they feel that they can is for me to share an experience that I had been through or gone through, okay? So, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the reason behind the whole stories just then. There was like 5 different stories, like with all of that, you know. But, yeah, so that's the reason I'm afraid of the dark. So anyhow, me and my friend are sitting in the dark, you know, and he starts getting freaked out, like, and I'm already seeing shit, you know what I mean? I'm like seeing stuff in the dark, like moving around and like, you know, and just weird stuff. You know, I could even see like orbs, you know, that weren't like white, but, you know, I could see things moving and like something walking and, you know, and I ain't saying shit. I'm just sitting there in the pitch dark, in the quiet. And I was the one that originally said, you know, well, let's not do this for too long. You know, I said, because, you know, I don't like the dark too much. And he was the one, we weren't even like a minute and a half into it. He's already went and turned on the lights. And I'm like, I'm good, man, I'm good. You know, and because I was trying to figure out, trying to distinguish, put it that way, you know, what the things were that I was seeing, you know, like in the dark. Because I could see like a shape or shapes, you know what I mean? I could see a silhouette of a person, you know, outline of a person walking clearly right by. He saw it too. And, you know, I could see the orbs flying and it's pitch dark, you know, and yet I'm seeing all this stuff going on, but he saw it too. And I thought that was crazy. So obviously there was a reason, he was able, you know, to see those things also, because he generally can't. He's not like a seer, you know what I mean? He has abilities too. Well, we all have the ability to have abilities, okay? It's just whether or not you believe, you have faith, and you open up those parts of your mind, and you have faith in yourself and believe in yourself that you are very much capable of having these abilities and using them for the greater good, you know, for their right intention, which is for the greater good, you know. All of these so-called supernatural, paranormal, you know, abilities that God gave us, you know, and because when he designed us, you know, he designed us all, you know, in that aspect where we are capable of having one type of ability or another. Everyone has the ability to have some sort of psychic ability in a way, you know, whether it be, you know, someone can maybe just see things, you know, and it doesn't have to be every day or all the time, you know, it could be just time to time. There could be a person, you know, that hears things. There could be someone that has premonitions, you know, someone that gets like feelings about stuff. You know, they can't see or hear anything, but they just, that's like your intuition, your gut, you know, they just kind of get gut feelings on things. Or some people like are more sensory and they can, you know, sense things or smell things, or like they have to like feel things like the texture or touches. You understand what I mean? Some people are just healers, you know, telepathy, you know, telekinesis, levitation, outer body experiences, you know, astral projection, remote viewing, you know, all of the healing things, all of those type of things. We are able to do. Humanity has gotten so lost, you know what I mean, after years and years and years and years and years. I mean, humanity has lost its way, you know, and we are less connected with ourselves and with Source than what beings and things were when the world was created, you know. You know, we were made and created to have all these thoughts and feelings and emotions, and for a reason, you know. We are different than other beings, say, or like aliens, you know, in different aspects. Like, we have actual emotions and feelings, you know. We know what it means to feel the feeling of like being in love. And humans have to go through an actual like action, it seems, and they have to go through the process of being with somebody and feeling that feeling or getting that feeling, because they don't have it right away. And we should already have the knowing of what it means and what it feels like to have unconditional love, and to love ourselves unconditionally and love others unconditionally. And it should be done without any question, without any thought. And star seeds, other beings, whatever, aliens, whatever you may call them, that is one thing that they don't have to go through like a process like we make ourselves go through, of the learning of what love is and what self-love is and what unconditional love is and loving others. It's an unsaid thing. It's something that it doesn't need to be learned. It's just known, and it's just there for them, you know. But we have to go through, I mean, because we're just difficult, period, you know. God gave us that damn ass free will, and, you know, we just had to frig everything up a long ass time ago, you know. And everyone always has to try to be in control and be Mr. Man and run and rule everything. And the only reason all of that shit started a long time ago was, and I will say, per the devil, man, you know. And material things, you know, have gotten their grip and taken a hold of us and as humans, and that's where our focus lies. Our focus lies on the material aspect of life, you know. We have to, you know, we're born and taught that, you know, we're little, we got to go to school, and then we have to get all this education and go to college, and then, or if not college, then, you know, get a job right off the rip, and we have to work a 9-to-5 job or do this and that, and, you know, we have to do all these things, and we have to, you know, have these specific type of houses or cars, or, you know, and then you got to keep up with everybody else. So then, you know, and then, so then you got to work extra hard and stress yourself out even more, you know, to go buy another house or a car that you can't even afford. So now you're house poor and car poor, you know, and you can't even pay your bills. So then you're in debt, because then you're getting credit cards, you know, to pay off everything else. And then you're getting more credit cards to pay off all those credit cards. And that happens to some people. And it's just a sinking ship, you know. But us and other beings and aliens and all that, every single species was designed differently, you know, with their own unique gifts and traits and things like that. We were designed, you know, to be able to do what all these other beings can do. We've just been made to think from the time we're born on that we can't. And that these things, you know, that people think are so supernatural, and I've said it before, are actually naturally a part of us. And naturally a part of what helps to make us also, you know? So they always say we only use 10% of our brains. Well, that's only half true. And because we use 10% of our brains consciously, and the other 90% is used in our subconscious. And actually our subconscious is more important than our conscious, you know? So that's where it works the most, that's how our brain works the most, is in the subconscious. You know, it's when you're sleeping, meditating, dreaming, all of that. But anyhow, so he did like the hand thing, and I could see his fingers, you know, how many he had up, because he did all that in the pitch dark. But then I thought tonight, a little bit before I came on here, I was like, well, I'm going to try it by myself. I don't know why. I turned off them lights, and I shit you not, within 30 seconds, it looked like there were these things coming in my window. I mean, you could hear the screen moving and opening, and that's happened before here. And somebody else was here with me when it happened, because, well, my ex, you know, because I kept telling him, I'm like, dude, I don't know if there's police or if there's somebody outside my, you know, this is when he was in jail. I said, there's someone outside my house. I said, all the time. I said, I keep seeing like this light. I said, it reminds me of a flashlight or something. I said, and I look out. I said, there ain't a fucking soul out there, man. And I said, I don't know what it is. I said, you know, and then I said, so it's like I keep the lights on, and I, you know, if I go to sleep, I have to have the lights on. And because I don't know, whatever it was, even though I would always look out and I would never see anything, something gave me an uneasy feeling, like somebody was out there, somebody was hiding or something, you know. And then tonight when I go to turn off the lights, okay, because when my current ex-boyfriend, he got out of jail on my birthday, which was January 16th. Okay, and obviously he ended up coming here, and it wasn't that first night, it was the second night that he was here. We were up, you know, we were up, and he said the strangest thing to me, because, I mean, at that point that night, I mean, we hadn't, like, done anything, you know what I mean? And we were getting ready, you know, to lay down and lay with each other, whatever. And it started then. And I mean, yeah, he had turned off all the lights and all that, and I even told him, I said, I don't know if I want, you know, the lights off. And he was like, no, it's all right. And he didn't even realize. And no sooner, oh my gosh, I just saw another one. Oh my gosh. They're like everywhere. That is crazy. They're like these little white glowing things. It's like they go to come down, and then they... That was crazy. I just saw 4 of them, you know, and different little spots. And they're all around me. It's crazy. And this is the point to this story. Because, okay, he and I go to lay down, and all of a sudden I hear it. and I hear my screen opening to my window. And so those of you that get heebie-jeebies, okay, don't listen. Because this like to about made me want to shit myself for real. Like, it scared me. And not what it looked like, or they, but I hear my screen opening. And I said, do you hear that? And he said, hear what? I said, that noise. And then you could hear it again, because you could hear it very slowly. And he said, yeah, what is that? I said, that's my screen opening. And he said, well, who's out there? I said, probably nobody. Probably the same nobody that is out there every time. I said, when I tell you every night, when I talk to you on the phone, and I tell you, there's something outside, da-da-da-da-da. And so I'm laying there, and I mean, the hairs on the back of my neck and my arm were starting to stand up, and I'm scooting closer to him, and, you know, I mean, and he was holding me kind of tight, and I don't know why I was getting scared, and I shouldn't have been. It's like I was like scaring myself more than anything. But then, not even 2 seconds later, there were 5 of them in here. And I don't know what the fuck they were. They had the silhouette of humans. They were shaped like humans, but they were nothing but black. Like, you couldn't see the different parts of the eye. Their eyes, like where our whites are, wasn't white. It was black. They didn't have mouths. Or did they have it? It was one or the other. It was like, no nose or no. And they didn't speak. And it was weird. It was like, there were 2 over here that had come in, and it seemed like they come in. And I had sleep prior to this, so it's not like I was delusional from lack of sleep. I wasn't on any type of anything at the time, and I'm just laying there, and I kept covering my head, but then I kept peeking out, like, why don't you just look? Because it scared me to actually look, because not that they were scary looking, because they weren't at all. I just got the most uneasy feeling about these things, and I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to say, and I said, what are they doing here? I said, and he was talking about like he knew what the frig these things were. And you know what this man said to me, and it like to have scared me, what he said. He said, they're everywhere I go. And I said, so you brought them here? They're with you. That's why I said, they're with you. And he said they were some type of shadow person or something. But he said they always show up when he's getting ready to have sexual intercourse. I said, so what are they? Some type of weird sex, like, demon thing? Like, what the... I said, what are you doing? I said, what have you been into? Because the first thing that popped in my head the minute he said that was like an incubus or something, but that didn't look like an incubus. It looked like a shadow person. Like, and it looked like a black shadow, but it was solid. It was like you and I. They were solid like you and I, just all black. And they didn't speak. They just stood there and stared. And I started praying. And he said, well, why are you praying? I said, because. I said, they ain't right. I said, they're not right. I said, they need to get the fuck up out of here for real. And and he was like, no, they're fine. See, that's the thing. They're not fine. And they are not good. And they were tricking him, but he didn't believe me. That's devils and demons. I mean, they will disguise themselves. you know. And even though, because I mean, I've seen other things that look a hell of a lot scarier than those things, and people thought they were evil, and they weren't. They really weren't, you know. It's just they look kind of scary, but it was like a creature, but that's what they look like where they're from, you know, whatever planet they're from or whatever. That's what they look like, you know. That's normal to them. Like we're scary looking to them, you know what I mean? Like, but I mean, and I knew right off the rip, like, I said, no, Ryan. I said, there is something not right about it. I said, no, they're not good. No, they're okay. I said, no, they're not. I said, number one, I ain't having sex with fucking nobody. I said, I ain't having some onlookers. I said, I got 5 motherfuckers in my room right now. And I'm under the blanket saying this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I said, no. And then that's when I got ticked off, because I'm thinking, I am not going to allow whatever the frig this thing is, and whoever sent it, you know, Satan, whatever, I don't even know, but to scare me, you know. So then I had to sit up, and I started, well, why are you praying? No, you know, basically, fuck you, and I'm going to pray. And I just kept praying, and I kept telling them, you know, to get the hell out, to get out of here. And that first night when he was here, even though I did all that, and it's like, at first, one of them dissipated, but then there were still 4, and then there were 3, and it took them forever to leave. It didn't matter how many times I said in the name of whatever, they weren't leaving. You want to know why? Because he didn't want them to leave. The guy I was with. That's why it was taking them so long. It doesn't matter. You have an energy here. You have 5 energies. You know, I'm one person, and I know God is above all. But God is not the one fighting these people. It's me. You know what I mean? It would be me and him, essentially. You know, even though God's got my back, and God has everyone's back, and angels have our back. But we have to learn how to deal with other things and beings and creatures and whatever, or devils and demons, and you know, if we end up coming face to face with something like that, which at one time or another, especially once you become awakened, you are going to see things that people say, don't, all those pictures, you put those away, you know, because you probably shouldn't be seeing that. No, I probably should, because my eyes are actually opened, and I can actually see now, and I can see everything that's actually all around us all the time. All the time. You know, and you have to learn as a human, and by your gut instinct. That's why they always say use your intuition, how to differentiate what is good, what is bad. What's light, what's dark, what's good, what's evil. You know what I mean? What's okay, what's not. You have to use your inner knowing. You have to know, because like I said, sometimes you'll come face to face with something that might be blended in your wall, you know, and it kind of, you know, say like you're looking, say like my tapestry behind me, you know, say like you're looking at it, and then you look at it a certain way, and it looks like there's a face, or like there's an eyes, or something, and you're looking like, no, you know, and then you get out your camera or whatever, and it still looks like it. It's because there's something there. They just, things, beings, creatures, it doesn't matter, starseeds, whatever, aliens, everything that is not from here, not from this dimension, and that is coming here, visiting, watching, doing whatever, you know, learning, they blend in. They can blend in to look like any and everything, like all around us all the time, and don't get freaked out. I mean, that's just how it is. There is stuff around us 24/7. Day and night, good and bad. A lot of them, though, you know, just coming here from other places, I mean, are coming here to learn and observe and watch us and learn from us, and probably for entertaining at times, and probably trying to figure out what the hell we're saying, you know, and they're probably laughing at us, because most of star seeds and other beings are so much more farther advanced than, there's no way in hell we'd ever catch up. We are eons and eons and light years and light years and light years and light years and eons and eons and eons and eons behind these people, these beings. It's actually kind of amazing. I mean, because where do you think we get all of our technology? Starseeds, aliens, other beings. Duh. So anyway, then tonight, I thought, oh, I'm going to try the thing by myself. I'm getting ballsy, guys. You know, ooh, sitting in the dark in my room by myself. Uh-oh, look out. Yeah, I need to look out, because no sooner I turn off my light tonight by myself, and within a couple seconds, not even 30 seconds, I mean, it didn't seem like it was light in here, but I could see everything so clearly in the dark, like it was daylight. It was crazy. And then I had two things start climbing in my window, in my room, from my, And at that point, I sat here because my heart started racing a little bit. The hairs on my arms and neck started to stand up. And I'm thinking, I'm by myself. I don't know what to do. And it was almost like I was frozen. Like I couldn't get up and move, because I wanted to get up and turn on the light, but it was like I couldn't move. And so I'm just sitting there, and I started to get ticked off. And, you know, I just looked that way because they were right there. And the one was kind of crouched like this, like facing my window, like right in front of it. It's like, what the hell are you perched on? You know, what are you sitting on? It's like, I don't understand it. I mean, this is beyond me. And I started praying. And I told him to get the fuck out of my house and not to come back. I mean, that's exactly what I said. I said, get the hell out of my house, man. I said, get out of here. I said, you're not welcome here. I said, he ain't here. I said, he ain't here. Get out. I said, nope. You know, because at first it thought it was going to stay. Because I said, in the name of Jesus Christ, you know, I command you to get out. And they just sat there. And I'm thinking, holy shit, man, you know. And then I prayed, and then I said it again. And I said, you know what? I did. I said, you're pissing me off. I said, get the fuck out now. I said, whatever you are, I said, get out. And I told him, I said, you know what? And then instead of saying in the name of Jesus Christ, I said, in the name of God, my almighty source, you know, and that's how I ended up putting it then. I said, whatever, you know, get out. And I just kept using God and saying, you know, I said, I'm protected. I said, all the angels are here, you know, I said, and I started praying to Archangel Michael. And that's how all this started, was the Archangel Michael and protection thing. Jesus Christ, an hour later. So, and that's, I called them all in. All the archangels, I said, all my archangels, all the guardian angels, all my guardian angels, all angels, period. You know, I said, come and protect me. And I named off Archangel Michael and Gabriel and Uriel and Ariel and Metatron and Raphael and Raguel and the Sandalphon. I mean, I was trying to name off every archangel that I freaking knew, you know. And then, of course, you know, I'm in God and Source, and just, and I said, you know, and I even brought myself into it there at the end. I said, it doesn't matter. I said, as long as they are protecting me, I said, and God is here and protecting me, I said, I am fine and safe. I said, you can't do nothing to me. I said, you have to leave now. I said, you have to. I said, you ain't never going to do nothing to me. I said, you can clearly see. I said, I am divinely protected. Because it was weird. This whole room was full. And they left. They didn't dissipate. I watched them crawl out my window. Isn't that the weirdest shit, guys? On God. I'm not high. I'm not on anything. There are forces fighting daily. The devil daily tries any way he can, with anything he can, to try to wiggle his way into our life in one way or another. And that was that again, you know. And I have a feeling, not a feeling, but I mean, I know. And like I told you guys the other night, I don't know what it is, but I know there's something, you know. We all have a purpose, but I just have a feeling that mine has to do with God in some way. You understand what I mean? I don't mean just like God, I feel like there is a bigger purpose for me, and I don't know what it is, you know. He hasn't told me my job yet, but I mean, because this is it for now, but they went scared, I'll tell you that now. The minute this room filled up with all them damn angels, and I mean, it was weird. It was like it got light in here. It was, I mean, that was an amazing experience. And when I have like supernatural, paranormal, whatever type of, I don't even know what to call them anymore. Whenever I have experiences, I mean, they're not like some little tiny, like, oh, I saw an orb. You know, oh, here I got a video of 2 orbs or 1, or no. I mean, I am seeing and have seen, and there have people been that have been with me and around me that have seen things also. So it's not just me, you know, and people aren't crazy, and I've got pictures of things that are beyond this world. Creatures that aren't from here, you know, and beings that aren't from here. And I've got a picture of a full-on black shadow person behind me, you know, like peering over behind me. And I had that checked out, you know, my psychic friend out there, and that was on Ghost Adventures. I sent all my stuff to her, and that, because back in the day, because that was back in 2020, and I asked her, I said, am I okay? Am I in danger? And she said, no, you're fine, because you're very much divinely protected. She said, you're always going to have light and dark around you, energies, you know. She said, and she was one of the first ones that said, because you can channel both sides, and you can help both sides, and both sides know that. So, of course, the dark side wants to try to get in with me because they know I can help them. They know I can transmute them into light. You know what I mean? I can take them from the dark and send them to the light, if need be, if that's what they want to do. And they know that. They know I radiate a very bright aura. You know, I have an extraordinary, odd type of energy, you know, and I can communicate with both sides, with them, with beings. I can communicate, whether it be out loud in my mind, which is telepathy, and it's weird, but I'm on my son and on God, like on everything I love in this world. Like, I have no reason to lie to anybody about any of this. And when it comes to supernatural, paranormal, or miraculous type things, I don't understand why people are so quick to discount them. You know, why people can't believe more in the supernatural, paranormal, or miraculous things, because that's what God's all about. Supernatural, paranormal, miraculous things. But yet, humans are the first ones to say, no, 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 no. Or that's wrong, that's bad, or no, or be afraid, or, you know, oh, don't talk about that, or no, that's your imagination. Well, if it's my imagination, then it's real. Because everything that's around us is created from our imagination. Is a manifestation from our imagination. Right? Right. Yeah, they went away. They ain't coming back. I'm telling you now. It don't matter if that guy will ever be around me again or not. Those things will not ever come around me ever again. Ever. I don't know. I have like a sense of pride right now. Like I'm like very proud of myself for some reason. Like I accomplished something like really big by doing that. You know what I mean? Like that's the feeling I get. And that's the feeling I had when that happened. Like I had just like conquered or accomplished something like really big by showing these things. Hey, you know what? No, I'm going to stand up to you. I'm going to call in my army. You're thinking you can beat me with your army of 2, 3, 4, and 5. You know, I've got the whole angelic realm in my room. You know what I mean? All around me, protecting me. Like, you can't come and hurt me. Like, it's not going to happen. Anyone tries to put, you know, any kind of curse or hex or do any kind of spell, it's going to bounce right off me and go right back to them tenfold. Whatever anyone tries to do to me, it's not going to work, and it's going to end up going back on them. It's either going to go to them or it's going to go back on them tenfold. Like, I don't understand it to its full capacity. I really don't. And I still don't understand the whole nature of all of what I am capable of doing and knowing and trying to suppress all that. You know, like I had stated one other time, you know, it is quite overwhelming. Our brains are like a computer, you know, and mine is on overload. It's constant information while I'm awake being downloaded or being told to me, or, you know, spirit coming to me nonstop and, you know, trying to tell me something, give me a message, you know, or my spirit guide's constant, or, you know, it's nonstop. You know, like I said, I've had messages about world events, you know, that have not happened yet, and my curtains are moving right now, and there's no fan on. That could potentially happen, you know, and like I've stated before, like all of information, especially information like that, very pertinent type information that has to do with humanity as a whole, who in the world do I tell this information to? Because most people are going to look at me like I'm some crazy fucking lunatic, you know what I mean? And yes, I'm looking right now. I just think it's odd. There's no fan on, there's no freaking window open. Why are you moving? Like, things are trying to, that's just a spirit and energy. Like, that's nothing. They're just screwing with me there. But I was trying to make sure, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, okay, the fan's not on. Like, I know damn well the window ain't open. If it happens again, I'll turn the camera around. But man, I've been on here yapping. We're going to raise our vibration. But all of this needed to be said for some reason. All of everything I have channeled out, everything that's come out of my mouth has been channeled, is a channeled message. All of what I just talked about needed to be heard by somebody who's listening, or will listen, or will see this, or somebody's going to tell somebody. You know what I mean? And that's fine. Spread it, you know? Did somebody just lose a cat recently? Because I keep seeing a cat and a white dog. And they've been hanging around me all day. And I don't have any pets. So, it's a gray cat and a white dog. The white dog reminds me of the type of dog that you know, there was a white dog back in the day. I think it was like a little Jack Russell, but it was a little bit bigger. Or maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But it had like the brown or black thing around its eye or something. And it's a medium-sized dog. It's not a little like Jack Russell. It's like almost like a... I don't know. Like Rottweiler, German Shepherd. No, Rottweiler... Pit bull, something like that's like the size of a Rottweiler. it reminds me of a Rottweiler, but it's white and just a little bit thinner, and it has like a brown or black, like, you know, kind of circle around there. And then it's got 2 other, like, brown or black spots on it, and that's it. It's got 3 altogether, 1 around side, and then it's weird. And then a gray cat, very fluffy cat. It's a lazy cat. It just lays and sleeps, but it's a loving cat. It purrs a lot. This dog isn't hyper, but it likes to play. I'm not going to play with it, but I mean, yeah, so I don't know if somebody has lost a cat and a dog here recently, or if they're 2 different peoples or what, but somebody's cat and dog are here. I heard Tommy and Charlie, so I don't know if those were the names or what. That's crazy. Okay, what do we need to do to raise our vibration? Oh, I can't see. These are so clouded and foggy. All right, you guys are going to have to get used to me, all right, being long-winded and these stories, because I have a feeling from here on out, I mean, I've got a shit ton of stories, and I've got a shit ton of messages to give. So, not just tonight, I just mean period. Oh, what is stuck to me? I don't know. My leg. Anyhow, okay. And good evening to you guys. Like, hi, you know, here I am. Like, yeah, I'm not in a trance. I'm not in a daze. Like, hi, I'm back. You know, it's me now. So it's not somebody else. Your mind is an aura to source energy. Wow. And what have I been talking about? The interconnectedness and like being connected and becoming one with yourself and source and whatever, you know. There we go. What else would you like the collective to know in order to raise their vibration? Somebody else has seen those things like I described. That's why I had to talk about it. Okay, well, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm doing acrobatics. I'm getting exercise in the process, okay? You know, I told you I was lazy and I don't exercise, so apparently cards flying across the room is my exercise. I am fulfilled by love, of course. Meaning, not I'm filled with love or by love. I am fulfilled by love. Meaning, I am fulfilled by the knowing that I love myself. Okay? And that others love me. I'm fulfilled by that. Clear your karma, people. Clear your karma. See? Don't be putting spells and hexes and doing sex magic. That's what I meant to say earlier. That's what that guy's been into. And he's done something, spells or something, with somebody, I bet you. And that's what then things had to do with. Whatever sex magic he's tried to do. Not with me. I mean, with other people. Yeah, he when I first met him, and I made fun of him about this, and one of the times I was in jail, I mean, because it was real funny how I told the story too. And because one of the times he had come over, and I just thought it was so weird, because this motherfucker comes skipping up my driveway. I said, what the hell are you so happy about? And he said, well, what are we doing? Because we were standing there talking at first, you know, and out in the driveway. And I said, well, come on, you know. I said, are you going to come in or what? And because at that time, we were just like going to hook up or something, you know what I mean? And we'll hook up and send him on his way, you know. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I said, what do you mean what I mean? He said, well, where are we going? I said, in my house. And then he got like super excited. And he's like, we're going to have bed sex? I'm like, bed sex? I'm like, what are you talking about? What the hell is bed sex? I'm like, bed? In a bed? Yeah. I said, is that like a thing? I said, is that the new thing? I said, or something, you know, you guys going... And he's like, no. He's like, really? So I don't know. I don't know if this guy had never had sex in a bed or like where he'd had sex at before, but apparently not in the bed. I don't know. That's weird. So then I don't know. We come in, and I'm not going to explain all of that. No, but it's just this one little thing. So whatever, out in the kitchen and talking, and then anyhow, end up in my room, and this guy sees my crystals, because I had some on my bed because I was doing some healing work prior to him coming over, and so I was using them, and so they were still sitting on my bed, because then he had showed up. So anyhow, and he's like, oh, what are those? I said, well, those are my crystals. I said, I don't take medicine. I said, so I use those. And, I said I was, working on something with myself, prior to you coming over. And he said, well, maybe we could take them crystals and hold them and have sex. And I said, what for? And he said, well, and I said, no, I don't know. He said, well, you're into the crystals and all of that. I said, yeah, I am. I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, we'll take them and we'll hold them. I said, so you're telling me that now I've got to concentrate on holding a bunch of crystals in my goddamn hand while I'm trying to do whatever I'm doing, or you're whatever you're doing, but we got to concentrate on holding these. I said, I don't think so. I said, that's weird. I said, that's not their intention. I said, and, mine are cleansed and charged and all of that, and their intentions are set for the purpose of me using them for medicinal purposes only, either on myself or for others. And I reset the intention when I go to use them on other people, and I honestly think that he's one of the people that has stolen some of my crystals and gemstones. And that's a terrible thing to do. I mean, it's a terrible thing to steal anything from anybody anyhow. But I'm sorry, those people that have, and the state people, they have close to $2,000 of my crystals and gemstones. The last time alone, I had almost $1,000 worth of crystals and gemstones with me. And then a time before that, when I had gone, didn't have them then either. Well, where are they? I said, if you guys took them into evidence or put them into evidence to have them tested or checked out, just let me know. And that way, when this is all said and done, I can go get them, once the case was all done. Because if they take things into evidence, that stays into evidence until the case is closed, okay? Well, all my cases are closed. And I had gone up there after I got out of the Monday, and nobody knows anything. Nobody's seen anything, but yet half the shit, the last time I went before the Monday, half the shit out of my book bag didn't even go with me to the Monday. I mean, an inhaler of mine, a set of tarot cards, a set of, another set of oracle cards. It was like a type of angel oracle card. And another person that stole a different kind of angel oracle card of mine. What else was in that book bag? All my pins were gone. Like I had, like a thing like this, full of pins, all gone. All my crystals were gone. Like I said, my inhaler, both my inhalers were gone. One of my journals, I just got this brand new journal, and I have a photographic memory. So it's like I remember exactly where I put everything, and I have OCD. So it's like, it kind of helps. But I just got this brand new journal that had like a sun on the front of it. And it was weird because at that time, I don't know why, but I tried to study and learn different languages, and for some reason I was looking into, because I was reading about the Voynich manuscript, and the people that were trying to decode it and all of this type of stuff, and whether or not it was real or like a big fake, and it was like a distraction against, everything. And then, of course, they got, the code, talking about how the Bible is really a code and all that. And I believe that wholeheartedly, that there's coded messages in the Bible. And, obviously, and, Yeah, I believe the Bible is the book of all books, and that is the book of secrets. That is the book that holds everything. And it was written and worded in a way with the knowing that humans, all reading the same book, are going to have different perceptions of what it means. And I believe like little codes and signs and synchronicities were intrinsically hidden throughout it. The stories in the Old Testament that most churches and people, prefer to leave out and they feel are not important, and it seems like the only books of the Bible that they ever go over in church is the New Testament. I mean, there's more to our life and this earth and than just that. I mean, Jesus was the most important part, it is one of the most important parts, the most important part of human existence, but there's other important things too, and there's other things that we need to know and learn, and as you can clearly see and read, and I mean, it has been proven, like in the Old Testament, I mean, it was prophesied about the coming of Jesus anyhow, and him coming and him dying. I mean, it's in the Old Testament. I'll look it up. I wrote it down, but I'll tell you guys next time. But, yeah, like, we have to learn to have eyes that can see. So we can actually read the Bible the way it's intended to be read and get the messages that were actually intended for us to get. We're just not allowing ourselves to see it. And most of humanity is blinded right now and unawakened. So they're not going to see it. You're not going to see it until it's time, whenever that may be. I don't know, and I just have this odd feeling like, and I know this sounds out there, but something huge, like huge, is about ready to happen. And it's more than just people like having their spiritual awakening. Like something amazing like is about to happen. Like I'm dead ass serious, and like we're all going to be here to like witness it and be a part of it. And it's going to be those that are choosing, to have faith and believe. And like the words that come out of people's mouths, like mine, the ones that everybody thinks is crazy, everyone thinks that the things that we say are so far-fetched and so out there and are in disbelief of it. But the ones that are in disbelief of things that, psychic mediums, whatever, seers, whatever you want to call them, prophets, we are shown things for a reason. We have our third eye for a reason. I am able to download and process and see and hear and be a witness in my own mind and in my own right, because it's not even in my mind. Like I said, it's my third eye, and it's so open. It's unbelievable. And the ones that are unawakened are the ones that are going to be stuck and stagnant, that aren't going to progress much further, because they're going to be in such disbelief of the reality of this amazing thing that's going to happen. I'm being told, and it's what I'm hearing, it's going to be an amazing, miraculous event. And it's going to be true and honest and of source and of God. And the so-called believers are going to be the ones not believing. They're going to believe that, say, like it was the government or the higher uppers, or somehow it was orchestrated, or it was a hoax. And it's going to be real as the fuck. And that's okay if they don't believe, because that just leaves more room for people like me and you guys, you know what I mean? The actual believers. But I'm telling you, and they're saying this summer, I don't know, we're going to be able to see something. For those that have eyes, let them see. And if you want to see it, if you want to see God's miracles, number one, open your eyes now. You know what I mean? Because we're a miracle. Like, it's a miracle that we're here every single day. It's a miracle that, you know, we get to be here on earth and experience this. And each of our lives is a gift and a miracle, you know, and we need to start realizing that, you know, that the smaller little insignificant things aren't small and insignificant. Those are the most important things. I'm excited. And you guys are like, for what? I'm not allowed to say right now. And I'm sorry. And if that's coming from the guy upstairs, yeah, I'm listening to that. And my spirit guide's very adamant, like, it's not to share right now. I shared what I am allowed to share. But something's going to happen this summer, the end of June, beginning of July, and it's going to be an amazing thing. And you're going to know that that's God. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that we're going to see God. I'm saying that what we're going to be seeing, we're going to know that is from God. That's God speaking to us. That's God, you know what I mean? And then I just heard, and then you're going to be able to feel Him like more than ever, like after that. The people that are going to choose to believe. Everything is going to be different, but in a better way. As long as you follow your heart. Soften your heart, soften your way. Keep praying to God every day. He knows your purpose. He knows your mission. Look for the signs and pay attention. Oh my God. Oh my God. You have got to be kidding me. I told you, like, I channel 24/7. When I write, I channel when I write. You know what I mean? Like, all my poems that I wrote in like 5-10 minutes. It's crazy. I mean, they all just like came out, and it's crazy. When I paint, I'm channeling when I paint. You know, my paintings are messages. You know, I could sit down and do a painting for somebody, and there's a message in that painting from spirit or from spirit guides, you know. So the pictures have pictures in them. There's messages in the paintings, you know. That's why I was so upset when those people threw out all my paintings. But hold on. I don't think we're doing cards tonight, guys. everything I'm talking about is very important. And I think for those of you that haven't heard this, it's back here. The light inside of me. There is a light inside of me that shines so bright, farther than the eye can see. It keeps me safe, it hugs me tight, it's there to let me know I'll be all right. There is a light inside of me that once was dark, unable to be freed. It kept me sheltered from the light, led me to a place black as night. I never knew which way to go. There was no emotion I could show, only hate and disgust. My hopes and dreams turned into dust. A place that celebrated all my shame, filled with blame and disdain. There is a light inside of me that was disguised by all the drugs, pushed so deep down in the depths of me. My insides were the fiery pits of hell. There was no soul, my mind was my prison cell. There is a light inside of me that whispers to me ever so gently. It tries to help me and to teach. My mind won't listen, my soul still out of reach. It cries out on the darkest of days. It yearns for that love in so many ways. There's only one thing it needs to know, that only I can help it grow out of the shadows and the dark and shine safely in my heart. There is a light inside of me that's called I Am and is trying to break free. It's seen the demons, the devil too. It gleams and glimmers, sparkling, singing to me, you're one of the chosen few. One of the special ones with an angel light that shines so bright. It engulfs you inside and out, that glowing golden white aura people keep telling you about. You're here to help everyone to see that light is purely an angel, God inside of me. With his help and my faith, he'll guide me along the path back to the light that at one time seemed like nothing but darkness and night. The blackness now has turned to white, turned to the good and beautiful song of the angels in my heart, the God I thought was once long gone. I found my faith, the purpose for me. I'm awakened to God and my spirituality. He's all I need at this time. He's all I need to help me shine. With him, I know I am enough. He helps me when the times get tough. All I had to do was pray, simply ask him to help guide me his way. From the dark into the light, awake again, no more night. Did I skip a page? There is a light inside of me that shines so bright, farther than the eye can see. It keeps me safe, it hugs me tight. It's always there to let me know God makes sure that I'm all right. Oh no, that was in the other one. He knows your... Look for the signs and pay attention. He knows your purpose. He knows your mission. Look for the signs and pay attention. That light is purely an angel, God, inside of me. With his help and my faith, he'll guide me along the path back to the light that at one time seemed like nothing but darkness and night. The blackness now has turned to white, turned to the good and beautiful song of the angels in my heart, the God I thought was once long gone. I found my faith, the purpose for me. I'm awakened to God and my spirituality. He knows your purpose. He knows your mission. Look for the signs and pay attention. He's all I need at this time. He's all I need to help me shine. With him, I know I am enough. He helps me when the times get tough. All I had to do was pray, simply ask him to help guide me his way. I skipped over that sentence. That's the whole reason why I got this. I wrote that when I was at the Monday program for a talent competition that I was in And after that, then they had me write an introductory poem about what music meant to me for the next talent competition. But I wrote that on April 9th of 2023 in 10 minutes. I wrote that in 10 minutes. Wow. Okay, real quick. Sorry I didn't have a reading. Okay, you guys are like, oh my gosh, I paid for this. If anybody's, yes, if you haven't, like, please subscribe to my channel. It's only 99 cents. It's less than a Hershey bar. So, and yes, with this, because, okay, I just did it yesterday. So, like, and during the whole process, you still have things to do, like, while getting yourself set up. They have, like, steps and stuff like that, you know, to get monetized and stuff. And ways to go about doing things. Okay, but if you haven't subscribed to my page here on Facebook, go ahead and do it. I think the first 14 days are free. After that, it's 99 cents per month. That's it for now. You might as well get it now before it goes up, because after this week, I think I'm going to continue this week like normal. But then after this week, in order to see me live, you will have to be a subscriber of mine. Now, and then after this week, when I do the live readings, what I'm going to be doing during the live readings, I will do one for the collective, you know, and then if there's anyone that wants a small individual reading, you know, while I'm on the live, it can only be the subscribers, because you'll have to be subscribed to watch me live to get a personal reading. So if anybody wants a personal reading, and it's just going to be for the people that are subscribers, you know, then I will do it. And I'm going to try to cut them. And like, when I go live then for the subscribers, I'm going to try to be on there only an hour. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to like regimen myself and like schedule myself and structure myself and all of that. And I'm going to make tonight. Yeah. I was going to make like a little calendar, and I've got like all of that, and I'm going to put everything in my phone, you know, and I'm going to write it down too, because there's something with me in writing, you know, which helps me retain it more too. I mean, I can look at something and it's weird. It's like my brain will take a picture of it, and then that's stored in my mind, and then I just kind of have to like recall that picture that I took in my mind, and then I know it. But there's some days when, and this has to do with, I have a lot of brain trauma. I mean, I really do. And I think they called it traumatic brain injury or something. And that has to do with, okay, well, there were a couple times as a kid that I got concussions. One, I was thrown off my bike from the sidewalk into the middle of the road, and I landed on my head, and I had a concussion. And my mamaw, instead of taking me to the hospital or whatever, let me sleep for 5 hours. So there's that. And I got a concussion one other time in another bike wreck when I was younger. Okay. But then, okay, I have a lot of my brain trauma stems from the abusive relationship I was in. So I had a shit ton of concussions when I was with that person, and I was hit in the head all over. And in, you know, in so many different places and so many different times, and very hard, and with objects, and then November 19th of 2018 with the psychotic stalker that I was leaving and broke up with. That's that night. I had been off heroin and fentanyl for a month and a half, and that's the night that he was supposed to shoot me up with coke, and he shot me up with a whole syringe of fentanyl and left me there to die. And literally, he left his apartment and didn't call 911. And so So yeah, he left me there, and I died. And I mean, because I guess he called his mom. He didn't call the paramedics. He called his mom, and to go over there. And his mom waited till she got there to call the paramedics, and she called them, and they got there, and of course I was dead. I was unresponsive and no heartbeat, like I wasn't breathing, like nothing. And I guess they tried Narcan me and all that. I forget how many times. And even at that time, I think I still only weighed 80 pounds. 80 pounds, I think. Because when I went, not even that, no, I was still in my 70s. I was tiny. When I went into detox, I weighed 68 or 69 pounds. And I was withering away to nothing. I was dying, literally. I was literally dying. And of malnutrition. And so they worked on me, and they kept working on me. And for 26 minutes, they told me. And then they even, which I think my friend, and he's passed away now, Mr. Steve Helling, he was a good friend of mine, and he was a firefighter and medic here in Xenia. I think since he was 19 or 20, however old you could be, but he worked here for all those years. But I mean, I've known him since junior high, and he always remained my friend, you know, and was always nice and kind to me, you know, and stayed a friend to me, even given the situation I was in on the drugs. And he didn't even really know all that until I confessed it to him 6 months before that happened. And honestly, he had seen me. I couldn't find the keys to my car. Dustin had them at his house. He somehow had got the keys to my car. I don't know how, because I drove home from his apartment. So that doesn't matter. But I was dope sick, and I couldn't drive my car because I had no keys. I couldn't find them. And so I had a bike, you know what I mean? So I was riding a bike over to Dustin's, because for some reason he also had all of my dope. So I couldn't even like try to snort any or anything to even try to get well, you know, because I couldn't do that thing on my own. So here I am, sick as hell. It's hot as hell outside, and my body is hurting too much to even move my legs to like ride the bike. And I'm crying, and I'm like barely walking, and like I could hardly move. Like sometimes it felt like my bones were breaking, and I would scream in agony, and it was bad. It's because, yeah, my body is literally, they said, allergic to carfentanil, and just nonstop rejects it, and it just nonstop. And I was killing myself, not intentionally, but you know. So anyhow, I hear this beeping and somebody saying my name, and I turn and look, and he said, Alicia? And I said, yeah. I said, who are you? And I didn't even recognize him. And it was Mr. Steve Helling, the firefighter medic. And he said, are you all right? And I said, no, I'm not. I said, can you please give me a ride? I said, over, because he had a truck. I said, just over by Taco Bell, you know, here in Xenia. And he said, yeah. And I was just right there on Dayton, Xenia. I wasn't far from it. I was only half a mile from it. But I couldn't make it anymore. I couldn't walk. And so he took me, and in that short little 2 minutes that it took to get from where we were to Taco Bell, and he was honest, and he started crying, and he said, Alicia, what's wrong with you? He said, you look like shit. He said, you're so skinny. And so he said, you look like death. I said, I feel like death, you know. And I was trying to like play it off and play it around. And he said, well, what are you coming over here for? And I said, well, you know, my boyfriend lives over here. I said, and I have to get well. And me being a dipshit, I just automatically assumed, with being in the position that he was in, that maybe he knew the terminology or something of what people use. But I mean, if you're not in that type of lifestyle, if you're not in that type of life, then no, you're not going to know what that means. And then all of a sudden I realized he had no clue what I was talking about. And I started crying because I was, number one, embarrassed, you know, and then number two, embarrassed and ashamed and just of myself, period. And here he was crying, and here he is, and he was always the nicest person, telling me how much I look like shit and that I look like death and like I was dying. And he said, Alicia, he said, I can't say any names. He said, but do you realize, he said, almost every day we go on calls for overdoses. He said, and do you realize how many people have passed away that we went to school with? And I said, yeah, I know of them. And he said, well, how would you, he didn't name any names. He said, but how would you know of them? I said, that's the life I live. And he just kind of looked, he's like, what do you mean? And I said, when I said I need to get well, I said, I'm not sick like I have a cold. Like, I said, I have to go do a drug so I won't be sick anymore. And then he started crying even more. And he said, Alicia, I never thought in a million years, he said, I would ever, ever, ever see you in this type of position. And I said, it ain't no thing. I said, you know, I said, it's all right. I said, you know, I'll be okay. And he said, Alicia, he said, I don't, get this, he said, I don't want to get the call one of these days. He said, to where it's you and you're overdosed. He said, and I don't want to have to call your time of death. And lo and behold, that same day, that night that Dustin had left me there, and he was working firefighter and he was working medic that night, and he called my time of death that night. And that was eerie. And that's how I know, like, how all the events happened, because he ended up telling me after, because he called my time of death at 6:04 p.m. on November 19th of 2018. And somehow I woke up on my way to the morgue. So, that was crazy. But he told me that, you know, they'd used all these Narcans. He said, but you were so small and so frail. And he was like, you know, we couldn't really legally, like, use any more. And they wanted to call my time of death, the other medics. And he said, no. And he told him to use the paddles, because I guess he was in charge or whatever. And I guess there's somebody on whatever. And they didn't want to, and they said we're not allowed. And I guess there was a law or something, some kind of legality to where, like, a person in their weight, and if you've already used so many Narcans, and, you know, they're unresponsive, and of course I had no heartbeat, I wasn't breathing, like I was dead, and I was basically dead when they got there, you know. And they didn't want to do it. And he told me, and this about like to kill me. And they said, one of the guys, and I don't know if he got suspended or what, I forget. But, yeah, Steve and I were really good friends. I mean, we really were. And his dad was the first, that was the first time I ever went to jail. I was 14 or 15. And me and my friend got in trouble because we left a party, because we left the party and we went and drank a couple beers and we came back, and then her dumbass, like, was falling down the steps. Like, dude, we had a beer and a half. Like, what are you doing? You know? And so somebody told on us. So then we got kicked out of the party there on King Street. Dawn Geyer. It was her birthday party. And so me and Calista Carroll. And so anyhow, yeah, her parents called the cops on us. And so we leave out of the house. No sooner we leave out of the house, there's a cop car. And they were just trying to scare us, but it was Steve Helling's dad. And that was the cop that arrested, like Calista and I, because we were only 14. And they did take us to the real police station. They put us in handcuffs to like scare us. And then they called our parents. No, they took our pictures. They made us hold that thing. And that's when you got booked in, it was in the back there downstairs, like out by the parking lot, you know, where the food trucks and shit come in. Yeah. Down there where the lawyers and stuff talk. That's where booking used to be. And I remember, yeah, they got a hold of Calista's mom, and her mom come and got her, and they couldn't get a hold of my mom. And I sat there forever. And I think that's why, one of the reasons I get kind of traumatized and have PTSD when it comes to like getting arrested and going to jail and things like that. Like I freak out, like if someone says they're going to call the cops on me. And I've been freaked out ever since then. You know what I mean? Like, that did a number on me. I mean, that was very traumatic for me, because I sat there, I forget for how many hours, and I kept telling them, like, stop calling my house. Like, my mom's not at our home. Like, she was at her boyfriend's, which was out at the Darrows, and that was a party house. And I said, they can't hear. Like, you can call the phone all day long. I said, somebody's going to have to go out there. I said, to the house there on, you know, Monterey or whatever it was. And I said, because they probably got the music up so loud and can't hear. Because it was a weekend, it was a Friday. I said, it's always like that. And yeah, I was there for about 4 or 5 hours by myself, watching all these people, adults, you know, come in and out, women and men, and, you know, they look hardcore and look like they were on drugs. And here I am, this little 14-year-old, and traumatized by it. But anyhow, so they said, yeah, so anyhow, my point was, we're really good friends. We've been friends, you know. And of course, his dad told him all about it, about me being arrested. And his dad really didn't want him hanging out with me after that, because he thought I was bad news, you know. But Steve still did anyhow. And but I guess one of the guys that was working the medic there and working on me, and had said something, because when Steve had said something to them about the paddles, and one of the persons said, dude, she's already dead. Why does it matter? She's just another drug addict. And I guess that hit home with Steve, because he said, she's not just another addict, she's my friend. And I guess there was like arguing going on over my dead body. And what do you mean your friend? What do you mean? I mean, she's overdosed. She's a heroin addict. How's that your friend? You know, you don't hang out with people like that. And yeah, people like that. And I mean, when he had told me all of this, and he's passed away now too. That happened a few years ago, and that breaks my heart. But he was struggling with things like really bad. So, but yeah, he told me that. So that's how I knew all of what happened that night, you know. And so that's another reason I have traumatic brain injury, because then, like, even, you know, once I come to or whatever, you know, or came back alive, my memory was kind of messed up for a while, you know, and it took, and I stuttered a lot, and it was like certain simple concepts like I couldn't grasp, and like I wasn't understanding at first, you know. I mean, I could walk and talk and stuff like that, and like, but it was weird. Like, I could sit there and talk and like sound so intelligent, but like the word shoe like was foreign to me, you know. It was weird, like stuff like that. Like it was weird. And yeah, that whole next year was like, you know, so that sent me on a downward spiral. I mean, obviously, even though I was trying to break up with and leave that man, you know, that was going psychotic and ended up stalking me, it doesn't matter. I mean, that does a number to somebody you've been with for 6 years that claims that they love you, and that's how they show it, is shooting you up with fentanyl and leaving you there to die. I mean, that really makes a person feel like shit about themselves and feel like they're after that happened, I felt lower about myself then than what I did when I was on heroin. Because, like I said, having somebody do that to you, somebody that supposedly loved you and cared about you, and somebody that you've spent 6 years of your life with, and they just leave you there like you're nothing, purposely. That, like, really affects a person mentally. So, anyway, that's why I have some of my brain trauma too. You know, I've been hit in the head like so many times and with so many objects and punched and in the head, and then that happened. And then prior to that though, I'd OD'd, I forget how many times prior to that, and I was never pronounced dead, you know, but that night I was pronounced dead. So I'm very grateful to be here, and I'm very lucky to be here. And so if I seem like sometimes to some of you naysayers that, you know, oh my God, she's so annoying, like, who's that positive all the time, and oh my God, my vibration and my frequency. Yeah, I know what you guys say and do, and why? Because it's shown to me and told to me, and it's okay, you know. I got fans, right? So it's all right. Like I said the other day, there's no such thing as bad publicity. So especially in that way, you know, all that does, like, the more that people talk about me and the more people don't like me, so to say, you know, and want to mock me and be condescending towards me, the more positive I'm going to be, and the more and more I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing and to continue to spread my messages, you know, and give my readings and sit here and talk all day long, because there's a reason why I have to say all the things that they make me say, you know? And people can think I sound conceited all day long. No, I have helped so many people, and on many different levels, you know, and touched many people's hearts, and helping people to awaken and help people get out of dangerous situations or abusive situations, or help people to leave somebody, or, you know, up and move, or help people become more aware of things that are yet to come, and, you know, help them change the trajectory of their life, literally, you know, to where they would be on a much better path that was, you know, more suited for them, instead of being in a dark, dismal place, you know. It's like, hey, this is what I'm seeing. This is what could potentially be. You could take choice A, you know, and do that and go that route, but still be depressed and mad at the world and mad at yourself, and not loving anybody and not loving yourself, and be far away from God. Or you can take this path, you know, it might take a little bit longer, you know, you might have to put in some work, and you might have to do this, that, and the other, but your end result is going to be much brighter, and your path along the way is going to be much brighter and happier and more joyful, you know what I mean? And no less depression and less anxiety, and, you know, you're going to be around people that, you know, surround yourself with people. You're going to be surrounded by people that, you know, love you and care about you and are like-minded people, and, you know, things like that. So yes, I mean, can I see the future? You know, I mean, yeah, potentially, yes. Not potentially, essentially I can. Like, that's why I say my readings are past, present, or future. A lot of times when I'm giving a reading and people are not directly connecting with it, the event hasn't happened, you know, and if they're not recognizing a name or something I'm talking about, it hasn't happened yet. And that's the God's honest truth on that too. I mean, because it's happened every time. They're like, yeah, well that, you know, everything resonated except for this one thing. And I'm like, okay. And then like a week later or a month later, they're hitting me up and letting me know, well, you know, I that Dan guy that you were talking about that I had no idea, well, you know what, we're married now. And I'm like, what the hell? You know, so, I mean, for real, like, no shit. So, you know, I see things, and I just see things, and I just know things. And if it took somebody leaving me for dead and thinking that me as a person wasn't worth living anymore and wasn't worth walking on this earth anymore, you know, if they thought that lowly of me and of themselves, and mainly of me, to do that to me, and I'm here. And now I have and am able to use and utilize, very much so, all of these gifts and abilities and talents, and I'm going to try to share them with the world. Little bits at a time, you know what I mean? That is my purpose. I communicate with spirit for a reason. I communicate and am shown things per my spirit guides and angels for a reason. And I communicate with source for a reason. And he shows me things, and my spirit guides and angels, show me things for a reason. Everything I talk about is channeled. Everything I say has meaning behind it. And you may not get it right off the rip. You may think it's just another long story, but, and I know sometimes it may be hard. It may maybe take my, you know, these videos in doses, you know, little bits at a time. But there's messages in the messages, is what I'm being told to say. There's just like there's pictures in the paintings, you know, there's pictures in the pictures. You know, there's messages in my paintings. There's messages in the writings that they have me write, you know. I never used to be able to sing. And sometimes, especially anymore, when I sing, it's odd because I sound like the person who's singing it. And so I would imagine that's me channeling that energy and singing like that, you know. And all of my abilities and gifts, as each day passes, they get stronger and stronger and better and better. And I have helped several people just this past week, by distance healing. You know, and I thought it worked better, you know, and I even said it the other day that, you know, I can do distance healing, but I feel it works better, you know, if I'm in person and actually placing my hands on these people. And I helped them from my bed, and they were nowhere around me. And I've been given amazing gifts and abilities, and I've been given an amazing opportunity to get people to see what we're supposed to see, and to get these messages from the higher realms to you guys. I'm the middleman. I'm the medium. That's me. So help me do that, help support me in what I'm doing, pay for the subscription. It's 99 cents, you know what I mean? Or just tell other people, hit subscribe, and it doesn't cost anything on my YouTube. It's free, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I mean, tell anybody and everybody and spread the word and get the word out, and keep me busy, help me to be able to essentially make a living off helping all of you, and by doing this, by talking, by sharing, by giving readings, by doing my energy healing, by just being me, honestly, by being me. And that would be the best gift ever. Help me, help you, Jerry Maguire, do we have to bring that up and in? Yes, apparently, because just please, yes, help me so I can continue to help you guys in whatever way I can, because even though you guys don't realize it, me doing this and me helping you guys helps me tremendously. Me being able to talk and vent and share helps me probably more than you guys would even imagine. It's the best thing ever. I don't know why I'm so emotional. But, and I was originally talking about subscriptions and all of that. Apparently they didn't think subscriptions was that important. It's not. I'm just trying to do everything I can to get money because I'm completely broke. I told you when there's people, this is why I have this Facebook account, when there's people, whoever they were, I never found out who it was. That's why they shut down my other Facebook, because I reported somebody for fraud and for identity theft. And somehow they had gotten on my Facebook, as I was on my Facebook, messaging people, telling them to go to my house and come over, and it wasn't me. It was these other people, and they got into my bank account and my Google stuff. I mean, they got into everything of mine. And I had just filed identity theft back in September. But I believe this is somebody that I probably knew or knows me, and is just very good at hacking into things and very tech savvy, I guess. And they think they got one up on me, and they have threatened me several times through that WhatsApp thing and these other messenger. But it's a fake account, so I don't know who they really are. But they know things about me. They know personal things about me. So I need all the help I can get right now, okay? So we're going to try to stay positive, and we're going to be positive. And we're going to continue to help each other out. See? Devotion unites me with the infinite. I'm reading them real quick. My light attracts light. Manifesting is my superpower. Come home to your body. Truth is my teacher. And I trust in my gifts. Those are all great. Especially in regards to everything I've been talking about tonight and what I just ended with a second ago. So I'm ending with that. That's a sign for me. I trust in my gifts, and I trust in myself, and I have faith in myself, and I believe in myself. And I believe that I can do phenomenal, not just great things, but phenomenal things. And I know I am a beacon of light, and I know in one way, shape, or form, me and you guys, if you stick along with me, we're going to be a part of something so much bigger than us, and a part of some type of movement, literally, of movers and shifters and shakers and people awakening, and this miraculous divine thing that's going to happen the end of June, beginning of July. Remember that. And we're going to help in the aid of changing the world, like for real. And people can laugh all day long, but I'm telling you, this is the year. Like, and I've been saying that since day one of 2025. Like, this is the year that things and people change. The world is going to change. Things are going to change dramatically by the end of this year. With everything. Period. So, I hope everyone has a lovely, lovely evening. Yes, I will be on here again tomorrow doing lives. I will actually do a reading and readings, okay, for the collective tomorrow. I do apologize for the long stories and the rants, but like I said, there's reason behind as to why they have me talk about the things I talk about, okay? I'm seeing things like crazy, like what's going on outside right now, I'm seeing inside my room. It's weird. I'm kind of scared right now. I have a person or anything. I just have a really bad feeling. I have a feeling it's the police, like for real. I mean, I filed that motion. Oh yeah, I did this. And then they put my court date off until April fucking 2nd. See, I'm telling you, yeah, see this, it's a crock of shit. They're trying to get me to serve some jail time because they're thinking I'm going to get picked up before the 2nd. And then I'll have to sit there until the 2nd. I'm not doing it. Because I filed that motion to have that warrant taken away. Since when do I have to wait a month and a half? Come on. It's never been like that. You usually go to court within a week or two if you file a motion. I need an attorney. I need something, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make me serve some fucking time. How does anybody expect me to progress and ever move forward in my life if all they want to keep doing is putting me in jail? It's like, in the past few years, that's all it's been, you know, and I would get out and I would start to progress and, you know, start to get things started, and then bam, I'd be right back in jail again for another 6 months, and then I'd get out and then have to pick up where I left off or start all over again, and then bam, you know, once I started to get off my feet again, and then right back in jail. It's got to stop. I don't belong in jail. And it was for child support, and I paid a $500 lump sum, you know, and then filed that motion. And hell, other people that have paid that, and then, you know, hell, they took the warrant away that day. Why do I have to wait till the fucking 2nd of April? Give me a fucking break. This is what I'm talking about. I just hate it. Somebody make a phone call or something, like something. Nobody should have to live like this all the time. You know? And they're the ones that preach the most about giving people second chances and, you know, people turning around. Well, when people like me actually turn around, because it is possible, people do change and can change. And I have. And they, even people like that, want to just discard me like I haven't, and like I'm nothing, and like I just deserve and belong to be incarcerated all the time. But I'm gonna go. So if anybody can help in that department, I would appreciate it. So everyone have a good evening. I will see you tomorrow. Peace, love, and light. Bye.